Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, this is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 186. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz. It's a Knicks and Nets podcast. We're presented by DraftKings, but I think we have to start today with a little Jets, sprinkle in a little Giants, but of course we will be talking about the Nets and Knicks and how it relates to FIBA basketball that just came to a wrapping end for, I guess, USA and everybody. I have no idea who even won the gold once USA was out. Didn't really pay attention. Just going to be honest with you on that. But we will start with the NFL. And Alex, you know, I ask this every episode. So how are you?
Sad. Just sad. You know, like it's just one of those situations. Rodgers goes down. It's just like, you know, because he got up and then he sat down. You're like, all right, maybe he just like pulled a muscle, you know, like, you know, and maybe just like he got the wind knocked out of him or something. And then never thought I wouldn't think I would never see him again. So shades of Vinny Testaverde in 1999, which I was in the building for when I was a kid. And well, not a kid. I was in 9th grade, 10th grade, but it is what it is. But
let me
anyway.
Cheer you up, Alex. Can I cheer you up? And let me cheer up all of the Jet fans and Giant fans, for that matter, listening. As I mentioned before, we are presented by DraftKings, and football is back and in full swing with another week of epic games coming up. And who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sporting betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action. This season, all DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code BWF to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BWF. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.sot1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resorts, KS, 21 age plus, varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms and responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. And I would tell everybody after check out, use the code BWF. Great deal going on with DraftKings. We appreciate them being a proud sponsor here of Bad Weather Fans. And Alex, you were alluding to it with the Jets. You know, the Giants get shellacked 41-0 the night before at MetLife Stadium. 40.
Don't change them. Yeah.
Shit. I don't know why I added the point. And then the Jets 22-16 win on Monday Night Football. But one of the most surreal moments I think I've ever witnessed as a football fan. You know, I'm watching the pregame and I'm doing this as I'm like putting my son to bed, but at the same time, I've got it on my iPhone and I'm watching all this. Aaron Rodgers is coming out running with the American flag. I mean, I don't say this in a condescending way. I really meant this. It felt like it was a Jets home game and you weren't just at Giant Stadium. Like, I never really put that together in my head, but I was like, this is where the Jets play when I was watching this. And then to come out and have that, you know, stop against the Bills on their first possession. And then the Jets got that big run. And then all hell broke loose. And Aaron Rodgers completes 0 passes in his New York Jets career. And he's done for the season. Just remarkable.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. And like I said before the DraftKings stuff, you know, thanks to them for sponsoring us again. But it was one of those, like, surreal moments. So like, let me rewind. As you can see behind me again on YouTube, I put my Jets picture from where I used to sit in my season tickets back in the day growing up. 1995, 96, 2 awful years in Jets history. Rich Kotite is the coach. It's terrible. They win, I think, 3 games the first year with Boomer as their quarterback. The next year they go 1-15, wipe everybody out of the only thing that came out of that era was Wayne Corbett. That was good. And then they wipe everybody out and they bring in Bill Parcells. He changes the culture. He turns the whole team around. They go 9-7. They just missed the playoffs for his first year. 1998 comes. They're 12-4. They start off slow and then they win. Like they go on some incredible 10 out of 11 run or something like that. And they get to the AFC Championship game. You know, they're winning. They lose the game, but they're playing a better team in Denver and, you know, in Denver as well. And that was my favorite year ever, 1998. And then 1999 comes and you're like, oh, we're ready. The whole team is back, coaching staff. Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time, is the Jets defensive coordinator on these teams. The Jets are loaded. They are ready to rock. Curtis Martin, Vinny Testaverde is a quarterback. He set the Jets touchdown record in 1998. We are ready to go. Keyshawn Johnson, you know, and then first game in Giant Stadium, where it used to feel like Jets home games at Giant Stadium more than it did at MetLife Stadium, because that place is a dump. And it was just, the place was rocking. And you know, Vinny Testaverde hands the ball off. He turns around, or it's something like that. I don't even remember the exact play, but he turns around and he just goes down and he is pounding the turf. And everybody's like, oh shit. And the not funny part, and you know, back then in 1999 there's no cell phones like it is now. You know, people had cell phones, but it wasn't like the internet on your phone, so like nobody knew the update. So they put up on the screen, you know, maybe a quarter or two later, they're like, hey, there's Testaverde's out with an injury, he's out for the game. And you know, nobody knew if that meant he was really out for the game or was out for the season, but like, you know, people just kind of was like, you know, why would they put that up there? You know, maybe just for the players to motivate them for the rest of the game. You know, I don't even remember what happened the rest of the game. That was the year Ray Lucas came in. They had Rick Meyer. It was just a mess. They just missed the playoffs. Whatever. That team was loaded. And it's the same thing as right now. It's like a sick fucking joke. It really is, because you know, I didn't even want Aaron Rodgers at first, as you guys know on the show who listens. I was fighting with Mike about like, he's crazy, he's this, he's that, but he came in and he did everything right. He turned me around. He gave up $30 million, $35 million. He was basically the coach of the team, and he had everybody in that organization on notice, even the owner. Like, you want to win, follow me, because I know what it takes. I'm an MVP. I won a Super Bowl. I know it was a long time ago now, and people try to remind him of that, but he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And when he goes down, and I'm jacked up, I'm watching this at my in-laws' house. You know, it was my wife's birthday on Monday as well. Went out to dinner, all hyped up, went to an early dinner at a steakhouse. It was great. Got back early, got back right at 8:00, ready to rock, put my son to bed. Perfect timing. And like, I'm rocking, like I'm cheering at their house as if I'm at the game. And then when he goes down and he gets up and then sits down, and I'm just like, you know, what is he all right? Maybe get the wind knocked out of him, like I said. And then he goes in the tent, and then you're checking Twitter, and you're just like, or X, and you're just like, what? He's got, you know, what? And then you see all the Twitter doctors out there, and you're just like, no, he didn't tear his Achilles. This is not possible. This is not fucking possible. He did not tear his goddamn Achilles. Like, there's no way. And, you know, I didn't even care about the game for about 2 quarters. You know, I was just kind of just watching it like a preseason game. And then, you know, as the game went on and they came back, I started getting into it. Jarrett Wilson catches the touchdown, and I'm just, holy shit, we actually can win this. Breece Hall looks amazing, you know, and that Garrett Wilson catch is one of the best catches of all time. Dare I say, better than Odell's catch. And it was incredible. And to win with Xavier Gibson running back the punt. And if you watch Hard Knocks, like a lot of people did, it was the highest rated Hard Knocks ever. He runs back the punt for a touchdown. He's an undrafted rookie, almost got cut. And like, you just feel amazing for this guy. And I'm dancing around my in-laws' house, jumping up and down, my hands in the air like I'm in the game. My wife fell asleep. She's like, what's wrong with you? You know, I'm dancing around like a little kid. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I won a bet on DraftKings, which was great. You know, but like, it's just the emotions of that game was up and down and up and down. And once I calmed down, I'm just like, why the fuck did the Jets not have a competent backup quarterback? Why did they stick with Zach Wilson, who got benched for a 4-string quarterback last year, got benched twice last year? It's just, it boggles my mind. Now you got to go sign somebody like a Matt Ryan or a Carson Wentz when you could have had that guy on the roster. But maybe it's an Aaron Rodgers thing. He said, "I don't want anybody behind me." I don't know.
I think
so.
Sorry,
that was it was a long way to get there, but it's just I had to give the context to the people that didn't understand for a Jets fan what this moment was like. You know what I mean? So,
of course.
But anyway, yeah.
I like you had one little Giants jab in there, saying,
which one?
Dare I say it was better than the Odell Beckham catch? Which I'm not going to get into. I'm not.
It could have been. I mean, it's kind of awesome.
Either way, I mean, both catches I can make, so it's not a big deal. I don't even want to talk about it.
Easy, right? Easy.
I think the Jets' perspective, they drafted Zach Wilson with the 2nd overall pick. They're invested in him. Their game plan was, let's get him behind one of the all-time greats in the sport. As you saw from Hard Knocks, you heard Ian Eagle, who was on this show, talk about it, everything that Aaron was doing for Zach and how much it prepared him. And I don't think in their mind, Zach Wilson was coming in the first 2-3 minutes or whatever it was of game 1. I think that took everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
So they were grooming Zach, and that was their mindset. They weren't going to come in and get a veteran quarterback and ditch it. They wanted to go with this plan. I mean, this is the Jets. And at this point, I personally rather have Zach Wilson than bring in Carson Wentz, these guys are cooked. They're not good. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying Zach Wilson is any good, but he's been in the system. He's been here for a few years. I rather stick with him. He knows the locker room. You can't just bring in some guy off the street and say, go lead this team. Unfortunately, for better or worse, the Jets are going to be good this year. And I mean, ultimate success. I think they're going to be fine because their team has such a profound good defense and offense. Either way, they're going to win games. They're going to find ways to win games, even if the quarterback sucks. You're stuck with him. I mean, that's it. I mean, for better or worse, you're stuck with him. Now, do I think he's going to be great? Of course not. But if you're a Jet fan, you have no other options but to hope he's good. I'll bring it back to Ben Simmons a little bit. Do I think and it's a different situation a lot of different ways, but it comes back to this connecting point. Do I think Ben Simmons is going to be good this year? Of course not. I want to be wrong. I'm hopeful he is. What other options do I have? You're stuck with it. You're stuck with Zach Wilson. You have to go into each week, and he's got to prove you wrong, and that's his mission. End of story. Like that. Tom Brady's not coming in. Matt Ryan's not coming in. Carson Wentz sucks. I don't even know if that's an upgrade. You need Zach Wilson to just manage the game, and then he's going to. And this is, I know what your next point is. The Jets don't trust him. They're going to have to trust him a little bit, and he's going to have to gain that. He's going to have to do that slowly but surely. I'm not saying he's got to be Aaron Rodgers and it's 3rd and 13 and you're like, go for it, bud. No, but he's going to definitely have to take more chances and get better, or else there's no other. This is where the Jets are, and for better or worse, you're stuck with it.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Boyle's not better than Zach Wilson. I mean, he's the 3rd string, now the backup. So he wasn't even dressed for the game. So, like, Zach Wilson took one in the face. That was, of course, not a roughing the passer. There's never roughing the passer on the Jets, of course. They never get the benefit of one. He got knocked out, and he was, like, a little woozy, but he was like, I got to stay in this game because you can't have Randall Cobb running quarterback, for this game. But at the end of the game, they might as well have had Randall Cobb because they were driving down the field. They got a couple picks from Whitehead. That was great, 3 of them. He actually got a huge bonus for that, and he was like 3rd on the team in catches Monday, and whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the game, Robert Saleh's like, we are not passing this ball. We are taking our time and kicking this field goal.
You know what I mean? To go up
60-30. It was. They had, and that's been his coach for 2 years. Saleh. He knows him, and he doesn't trust him in that moment. And I know it's tough because he came off the bench, but like, he's eating popcorn like Jamie Foxx in Any Given Sunday, and all of a sudden he's in the game. You know what I mean? He's like, holy shit, what the fuck? He's hurt? That this fast? At least, give me a half to watch, and it's a tough situation for Zach. I mean, he's been around the block a little bit, so he knows it's not the same team, same coach. I mean, different system a little bit, but like he's been in camp, he's learning, whatever, but they don't trust him, and they need to trust him, and if they're going to have a chance. But Joe Beningo made a good point on the fan, on Evan and Tiki, and he said, they just need him to be Mark Sanchez. You know, they need him to just do enough, make a play when you have to, and run the ball and play some defense. But the problem is that it's 2023 and it's a passing league, and you have a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, and you're going to waste him like DeAndre Hopkins or Andre Johnson in Houston. And it's not even their fault because they got him Aaron Rodgers, you know, but like this kid is incredible. And he showed that on Monday Night Football, and Joe Buck almost jumped out of his shoes on that call because that catch was so amazing. I was like, holy, you know, it was one of those plays that you'll never forget. And it just sucks, man. And I know, like, a backup quarterback, it's hindsight, but it's not really. They could have just kept Mike White. You know what I mean? Like, he was already here. And, you know, I don't know if the locker room is really behind Zach Wilson, because last year they were wearing T-shirts of Mike White when Zach Wilson was a quarterback. And, like, you know what I mean? It's just, Mike White was good. He was throwing over 300 yards. He didn't win a lot of games, but he got knocked out. Of course, another non-roughing the passer, of course, you know, by Milano, also another guy, same hit, same player, same guy, always knocking Jets quarterbacks out. But on the Bills, and it just sucks, man. It's just, we can nitpick all we want, and like I said at the end of my first rant, you know, maybe Aaron Rodgers said it was part of his deal. Like, if you want me to come, I don't want anybody who's taking my job behind me, because he just dealt with Jordan Love behind him in Green Bay. He's like, Zach Wilson's not a threat. You know what I mean? Let me groom this guy, and we'll see what happens. You know,
there could have been some of that. I don't know. There could have been some of that. I mean, there could have. I firmly believe the Jets were just, we drafted him. We know we have somebody in Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Aaron said that it was a non-threat, and it was easy for them to progress forward with it. And this is who it is. You know, hindsight is 2020. Like, you know, who would you want as the backup quarterback? Either way, it still would suck. Either way, it's like, we play this game of who the backup is. It would still be somebody that's not Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that was a disaster. That was one of I felt terrible for Aaron Rodgers too. Everything he had put in, all the energy he had to embrace the New York City area, to embrace the Jets culture, to embrace being a Jet. I mean, he was all in on it.
He sold me. I mean, and you know how against I was at him. He sold me. He was completely.
You could not have seen him in those. You could say, oh, I don't think he's going to be good on the field. If you want to have that argument, we'll never know. But you couldn't come in here and say, oh, this guy wasn't in break. He was. I mean, he was Mr. Jet. It was almost like he grew up a Jet fan his whole life. He was the quarterback, and it was a dream come true. And I think the part that got you is everybody in that locker room loved and respected him, and he did change the vibe of the Jets. I'll be very interested to see what it's like for him now, once he comes out and is available to the media, whenever that does happen. And what he does for the Jets on a week-to-week basis on the sidelines, you know, once he's there, what is he like? Essentially, as Zach Wilson's coach and mentor. Right. I mean, his role has completely changed, where he's going to go from somebody that you were, you know, hoping could win you a Super Bowl to what can he do for Zach on the sidelines to help him in game. And you referenced, like, he's on the sideline eating popcorn. He didn't have time to go get snacks. Alex, that was so fast.
It didn't even warm up before he got into the game.
You know, it was insanity. It was hard to process how fast that happened. Right. Unlike, you know, the Giant game, which, well, I guess a lot of the similarities, which is the fastness of it. And I'll transition here to the Giants because I want to talk about this. You hate the Giants, and you can, and it was more self-evident to me than when right after the Jets won and you tweeted about the Giants. And I said to myself, they're in your head. They are.
New Nets.
The new Nets. And you had mentioned, and it didn't really dawn on me. It finally clicked in my head because you've been saying, I haven't, you know, it was the Giant fans that pushed me to get here. But you have been on this podcast, and I don't have a specific episodes, but you have talked about your disdain for the Giants.
Oh, I hate the Giants.
And when you were a kid, it is deeply rooted. So I think to simply say the Giants started it and pushed you there. Now, maybe they did 25, 30 years ago.
They brought it back.
They brought back feelings that have just been inside of you, which is kind of similar to how I did feel about the Knicks, because I hated the Knicks as a kid. And then towards like that middle-ish era, like 2008 to 2017-ish, it kind of like evaporated a little bit. I didn't like dislike them as much for whatever reason. But then it kind of got bubbling back again. I see a lot of similarities with you and the Giants there.
See, I didn't hate the Giants like as a kid growing up. I disliked them because, when you're in elementary school or middle school, like you're talking shit with your friends. I'm a Jets fan, they're Giants fans, and we're going back and forth. And I'm dealing with all of them sucking. Like I explained at the beginning of the episode, the Jets were awful most of my elementary school life. They made the playoffs in 1991 when I was, in first grade. You know what I mean? And they made it at 8-8 on some crazy kick at the end of the game, Raul Allegre. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're great. It was they went through some shitty years with Kostlid and then Kotite, like I said. And then finally, when I was in middle school in 97, Parcells comes and then we get good again for like 10 years, whatever. But then to end that streak of them being good with Rex Ryan ended with the Victor Cruz game. And that sent the Jets into the abyss. And I was at that game at MetLife Stadium and my season tickets that weren't these seats that are in my screenshot. But like, I was sitting, we had in the 100 level, and we were in the corner of the end zone, right where Victor Cruz ran to. So like I'm sitting and you kind of can't see there's one kind of blind spot where you have to kind of look at the video screen. So you get the out pass to Victor Cruz and it's just kind of cloud of dust. And then all of a sudden you see Victor Cruz running out like by himself. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And he throws the ball, he's doing the salsa basically right in front of me. I'm like 19 rows up and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? And then but leading up to that game, remember Rex was talking shit and the Jets were very loud and they talked a lot of shit. So Jets kind of started that kind of beef and covering up the trophies and in the whole thing and at MetLife Stadium. So they kind of started that shit. But that was rough. Coming out of that one was rough. Like that was hard. And hearing the Giants fans and then kind of gave it back to them 4 years later with the Brandon Marshall game, Bilal Powell touchdown, and Giants missed the field goal. I think it was overtime, and the Jets won. And it was walking out of the game. It was a Giants home game, that one, and walking out of there screaming and like almost getting those 2015. I think that was the last year, the time the Jets were good and didn't make the playoffs. But like, I'm almost fighting with Giants fans walking out. People like bumping me, like I'm like, get the fuck out of there, just like being like a psychopath. And like, ever since then, it's been dead because, like, Giants won their first Super Bowl and beat the Patriots, the undefeated team. Everybody's rooting for the Giants. You know what I'm saying? Everybody rooted for the Giants that year, even if it was like that same year with the victory. You know what I mean? It was like it didn't matter. It was just like we were, but it brought back when guys are just. It's just the Giants inserted them into the Jets. Jets were just happy this year. Like that was all dead though. You know what I mean? The Giants stuff, like it was all dead. And then the Giants inserting themselves into the Jets like happiness this offseason of like, we're just happy we got Aaron Rodgers and we're doing great. And like, we're happy, we're excited, like we're relevant. And the Giants were just jealous that they're not getting the spotlight. And it just became like all about them. Like, so that's what it brought back.
Okay.
I had to give it back a little bit because I said in my tweet that the Giants had a blocked kick and then they pretty much gave up like that. They were driving on that first drive and then they got their kick blocked and Cowboys ran it back for a touchdown. And then there was a turnover and then they were down 17-0 before you could blink and they gave up.
Yeah. A little overreact. Jets
lost their starting quarterback in the first 5 minutes of the game and they still won the game. So like, who has more heart? I mean, that's just
right. But I would say, with the 18 weeks of football, 17 weeks of games.
I know. I said that, right now.
Like who the hell knows how everything's going to play out? Right. I mean, it's an impossibility to know. It could be nothing. That's the beauty of the NFL. The Giants go into Arizona and they got to just get that shitty taste out of their mouth.
They better win that game
and go in there and win the game. I mean, Arizona played a lot better than I think a lot of people thought when they almost defeated Washington. The Commanders got the win late, but Arizona put a lot of pressure on the quarterback and played good and played really well. So challenge for the Giants, go into Arizona and get that win. But I think overreactionary to say like they got no heart, they got no this from that game. Absolutely. I mean, they looked lifeless after it spun out of control and then it was over. And it was a complete and utter disaster. I mean, that game was over before you knew it. It was strange too, because the Giants on that first drive running the football, looking great. And then you had Andrew Thomas with the penalty, and then you had the bad snap, and all of a sudden go from 3rd and 2 and manageable at the goal line to whatever it was, and you got this kick coming and blocked, turns into 6 points the other way, and then that was really it, and it just spiraled out of control fast. But to overreact of the season's over. I mean, it's just so amazing. It's just one game. And
season's not over.
It's just in the moment of just like, this is this shitty. See what happens in week 2. Make a decision. I'm not going to go from week 1 and be there. Like I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not going to do it with the Giants.
No, and
just not.
The Giants season isn't over. It's not even close. They need the defense to step up, and they got a good layup with the Cardinals, and they can get themselves. They win 24-3, and then you're feeling good about them. You're back on 1-1, and the season restarts. You know what I'm saying? You're not. It's not over, but it definitely did not look good.
No,
you know what I'm
did
saying?
not look good. That
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
I'm in all blue and you're in all green, but I'm not wearing Giant stuff. It's just
I'm wearing a Jets shirt.
Coincidence of the apparel for today.
No, and real quick, just to finish it up on the Jets, I just wanted to get one more point. And then the one thing that I keep thinking about, it's not the same thing, but it's sort of similar. Remember when Peyton Manning got hurt and then they sucked for luck? You know what I mean? And Peyton Manning came on the sideline and he was coaching because he was out for the season. And the Colts, I don't think they won one game, I think, that year, right? Or maybe not even. I think they won one game. I don't remember what it was. They sucked. They were the number one pick and got Andrew Luck, But the point is, like, the entire organization was fired after that because they didn't have a backup quarterback. They had nobody behind him. I think Curtis Painter, and then they brought in Kerry Collins back from the dead to be their quarterback, And it's just like, they and that team was successful. They won a Super Bowl. They were in a Super. They were winning every year. The Colts were winning 12 plus games every single year, and then they wiped out the entire franchise. I mean, that's not going to happen to this Jets team because their defense is just that good. But like, it could happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? If the Jets fall apart because they didn't have a backup quarterback, because Joe Douglas is obsessed with Zach Wilson and doesn't want to admit to be wrong, because they knew Mike White was better and didn't want him to play over him, and they put Joe Flacco in the first 4 games last year because they didn't want him to take over Mike White. That's politics, Mike. Politics can get you fired. That's all I'm saying.
This is for the real ones that listen to this podcast. I think Alex has told that Victor Cruz story 17 times. Like we all don't know it. He's like, just and so I
have
you know,
season tickets to the Jets. I had season tickets to the Jets.
For the real ones that listen to this podcast that have heard this, I was like, for all everybody knows, we edited that from a previous episode and inserted it back in. So thank you for again reminding us about. No, I know, but I love how you tell it like it's the first time each time.
I know, but you never know. We could have listen. Like,
and for those new listeners,
yes,
as we're going to talk a little hoops here. Week 2 of the NFL season coming up, and I guess you're listening to this you're downloading it on Wednesday, coming out Thursday, but NFL Week 2 is here.
Yes. Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on the action in every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day in this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code BWF to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BWF for bad weather fans. That's BWF. The crown is yours. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort KS. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms of responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. How about that?
Yeah, code BWF, everybody. Mikal Bridges looked great for FIBA basketball. He was a bright spot if you're a Nets fan. I'll look at it from that perspective. And then Jalen Brunson not getting minutes, defensive liability. I mean, can this be something that be something that happens for the Knicks? Can he regress, please? I'm just joking. I don't want to see anybody.
If he does, the Knicks are toast.
But it just, I think as a Net fan, you see that and you see how well Mikal Bridges played, and it does give you a little hope when not that was all Team USA's superstars, but that he established himself basically next to Anthony Edwards as the best player on Team USA. I think is a positive sign. Now, I've been on this podcast before. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say this is going to determine that he's going to take a leap. No, but I think it's better than him regressing and not being on the court. you like that Mikal Bridges was one of the guys for the best USA could offer.
Yeah, I mean, this team was like their D squad for sure. Any team with like USA with Kessler Edwards on it is not really that great. But you know what? He's the team USA, they played well, and then they ended up losing, and it was just, I'm not surprised. And of course they lost to RJ Barrett in the bronze medal game, excuse me. So it's one of those things like, I didn't really care, and I expected them to lose, and I can't do the US, the international world is caught up to the US, and they're now on the same par, and like, no, they're not. They've caught up for sure. It's not 1994 anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Dream Team 1 or 2, with the second one as well. It's not that yet, but they definitely have caught up, because you see all the international players in the NBA. But like, you know what? Yep. These guys are teams, and the Team USA just throws a bunch of nobodies together with a high, like, it's not nobodies. I can't say that, but it's like kind of like top heavy team, sort of, with a bunch of like B or C level guys. If you send out like, LeBron, it's funny because now LeBron put out the bat signal and was like, all right, we're going. And like, you know what I mean? And it's like LeBron, after the loss and they come in fourth place, he's like, all right, we got to save USA now. Now LeBron's going to come in like the hero with the cape and like, here, LeBron, perfect. Steph, Dame, Booker, and all these guys will come back, and another redeem team, kind of a thing, make a documentary about it in 10 years, kind of a thing, so it's just, if those guys play, though, they win gold every time. They might not win every single game, so that's how they kind of, you can show as internationals has caught up. They're not going to win every game by 30 or 40 points like the first Dream Team, but you know what? They're going to win gold no matter what. So have they really caught up that much?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't think it's a lock. No, I mean, these teams that are winning, they have 2 or 3 NBA players, and then the rest are non-NBA players. And
or former NBA players. Yeah, like guys like, yeah.
The gap is beyond close. It's not even, I mean, it's right there. These best players in the world are not American. The 2 best players in the world are not American.
Well, right now, yeah, that's true. You got Giannis, you got Jokic, you have
those are the 2 best
Luka,
players in the world. I mean,
Luka.
it's a different world. I mean, it really is. You would, if you put all of that together, I would bet on Team USA, but I wouldn't say it's a lock. And I'm not.
See, I would.
I wouldn't. I would not say it's a lock. I would not. I think that I would most likely bet on it. But the way these teams beat USA all the time, I mean, the gap has been incredibly closed. I personally don't even care. I know there's maybe this make me not prideful. I don't know. I'm just like, okay, the world's really good at basketball now. We're not as dominant as we used to be. Oh my God. Like, okay. Move on.
Who cares?
Who cares, right?
Make the Olympics more fun, like to watch.
It was great. 1992 was amazing. It was one of the best moments, I think, in basketball.
Oh, it was 92? Well, I think it was 94.
It was 92.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, everything's 94 in my brain. As a Knicks fan, in 94 they went to the final. So everything.
No, it was definitely 92. 100% 92.
No, I believe you. I just
all right. So the world's caught up. Figure it out, USA. It is what it is. It's a more level playing field. I guess everybody's like, USA's got to be the best at everything. It's like, all right. I want the Nets.
I mean, listen. Before the Dream Team, it used to be college players, and that's why they didn't dominate until they let pro athletes in the U.S. go to the Olympics, and that was the big deal. And that's why everybody went on the Dream Team. They had Magic, Bird, and Chris Mullin and Ewing and Malone and Stockton and the whole team. Barkley, Leitner, because he was he at the time was the college star. Won 2 championships at Duke, and they thought he was the next guy. I mean, he was a good player, but he wasn't. He's the only guy from that team that isn't in the Hall of Fame. So
is he in the Hall of Fame based
maybe
on college? He could
maybe, but if he's not, it's kind of not because of his NBA career. You know what I'm saying? So
strictly being one of the greatest college basketball players of all time,
winning,
and it's a basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA.
That's true.
I don't know, but probably not.
I don't think so, but maybe. But either way, it was that I just can't imagine a team with this. If the best USA players show up, I can't imagine them losing. If you get LeBron, Kawhi, Paul George, Dame, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, even like De'Aaron Fox, Kyrie Irving, I doubt he'd go to the Olympics, but just like guys like that, Steph Curry, you know what I mean? Like, how is that team losing a game You know what I mean? I mean, they don't have a lot of size because there's not a lot of big men that are USA born players. Like, you have to get Anthony Davis if he wants to go, or Mitchell Robinson, somebody like that, Jared Allen, somebody like that to come and just anchor the middle. But because a lot of times you get in these Olympic games and like, they have all these great players on the wing, and then you have like JaVale McGee. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's
in the news.
Just silly.
Yeah. I was the one Aaron Rodgers play that made me, well, this is a bit of a stretch, but it was the similar like feeling and moment when the Nets lost to the Bucks in Game 7, and Durant missed that shot and it was over.
The air ball. Yeah.
With the air ball. The guy had like a 50, 10, and 10 game every game.
He did shoot an air ball though, man. It was an air ball.
That's all. You're a troll. I remember just staring at that TV for like an hour and didn't move. And it's just like that numbing feeling of like, oh my God.
And out of respect, I didn't text you. I did not text you. I was just like,
well, yeah, you don't text somebody after that. That's rough. But I mean, the difference with the Nets was in my head, I said, we got Durant, Irving, Harden full season next year.
Mm-hmm.
Started to get some hope. For those listening, it didn't work out. But I just know that feeling in sports where you're just staring at the TV, like it didn't happen. That
I was just like, I don't give a fuck about this game anymore. Fuck this game. Yeah. That's what I was thought about. I was just like, this couldn't even happen like week 10. Like, give me like a taste. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even get a taste. I didn't even get a completed pass. Like, I didn't get anything. Nothing. And I had one preseason touchdown pass. That's what I had for Aaron Rodgers. And you got to think about it. Do the Jets even bring him? Like, should they even bring him back? I mean, he'd be a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury. Like, is he going to be? Can you count on him? You definitely can't. If Zach Wilson shows he can't play again this year, you can't go back to Zach Wilson as a backup and being groomed because he's got to get paid soon. He'll be, it's just, you got to bring me a real rookie or a real backup. And the good thing, I guess, good in air quotes, is that now their trade with the Packers. Now they keep their first round pick and they have to give up a second because it was based on if he played 65% of his snaps. And I don't think he played 65% of his snaps. So you get that at least. You keep your first round pick. That's the only silver lining.
To answer your question, I think we just have to let it play out. I think you're never going to see Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform. If I had to guess now, but you never know. I mean, he was so motivated to come here and play. Maybe he wants to come back. And I think if you're the Jets organization, if he puts in the effort to come back,
right.
There's no you don't just be like, well, we don't trust you. You're a little older. See you later. That will not happen. If he puts in the effort and he comes to play, he's gonna get the job.
Right, but you have to get insurance.
Sucks,
yes,
and he's not good.
You need the insurance.
They'll have a backup plan. Trust me. But there's no shot in hell. Like, if he puts in the effort, the rehab, he's like, all right, guys, I'm here. And they're like, oh, we're going to cut you. Like, that would be an incredible fuck you. And I don't think
we'll find out on
willing to do that. Hard Knocks 2.
We'll find out on the next episode of the Pat McAfee show when he's on. He's supposed to be a weekly guest. Is he going to keep doing that? I mean, that'll be the highest rated McAfee show again.
I know. See. That's kind of a great point.
Is that today? I don't know when he's on there, Wednesdays or Thursdays or whatever.
I'd imagine
maybe he'll skip this week. This week he's skipping probably.
I would skip. If you're hurt, I mean,
go next week. Get your mind together.
That would just be unfair to him and his personal matter of where he is. I mean, if he wants to, but I wouldn't. It's a great question though. It's a really good point.
You know what, guys like Vinny Testaverde, to bring it back, he tore his Achilles. He came back and he played again, but he was never the same. You know what I mean? He came back and he started for the Jets a couple games here and there, and they had Pennington. No, they moved on. You know what I mean? It was kind of like one of those situations. So it's just like, but the Jets went out and they, went and got another quarterback. They drafted a quarterback and developed him. They let Pennington sit, and you know what I mean? And they brought him in, and he was a good quarterback. He just had some shoulder issues, whatever. They won some games with him, playoff games and stuff. But like, you can't put your chips in the middle of the table with Aaron Rodgers anymore. You have to have an insurance policy, like a real one.
It was only four plays for the Jets. Yep. He was there. And I think this maybe would have developed more and more if he stayed, but I had it a little bit and it came true. But like whenever I would watch Kevin Durant, there was always a part of me that was just worried, like, this is the play he gets hurt. This is the play he gets hurt. He took some weird falls. His body would fall and contort in weird ways. And I always was always a little scared watching Kevin Durant play.
And he's a bag of bones also. He was a bag of bones.
Yeah, and he started to get more injury prone. When I was watching Aaron drop back, in my head, I had like those same thoughts of every play could be the last play. And I don't know. It was 3 goddamn minutes. But if the season went along and he started to take some hits and you saw these plays, like if you would have started to have some of those same nerves that I had with Durant, I started to get those vibes. And unfortunately, he got wiped out right away.
Can't have nice things, man. I really can't. You know what I mean? You get Edward Diaz gets hurt. Like Darrell Rivas got hurt. All these players that whenever I get guys that I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I have this guy. Porzingis before he hurt his knee. I'm like, I can't believe we have a player at this caliber that's so great. Like, this is awesome.
I know.
Done, hurt, and that's it. It's just every time, man. Every fucking time.
See, this is to bring it all back to Aaron, and then we'll wrap things up. The missionary train, like Aaron Rodgers is your missionary, like
missionary.
Yeah, a mercenary. My God, I'm tired.
What are you thinking about?
Missionary. Oh my God, I don't even know if I should make the point anymore. You've made it
the
all the
doggy
way
style train that we're going on.
Oh
right
my God, the mercenary. The mercenary train. I don't even want to make the point. The point was Aaron Rodgers had done everything to make you not feel like a mercenary, right?
Yeah. He's not a mercenary. I mean, he was a mercenary, but at least he bought in. It's not like Max Scherzer, who didn't give a shit about the Mets. He just took the highest dollar. Like Aaron Rodgers gave up money and he came in. Yeah, James Harden, Kyrie, Durant.
All right, I'm done. You done? I'm done.
Yeah, they were mercenaries.
They were mercenaries.
Mike wants to do his missionary, so we got to go.
Oh man, no, trust me, I'm gonna be
last. What are you searching before the show, man? Like, that's what I want to
know. Here, let me tell you. Hold on.
Oh my God!
It was Lego Masters season 4. My uncle and cousin are on Lego Masters, so that's what I googled.
Oh, nice.
TV show on Fox. If you really want to know the answer. All right, this has been Bad Weather Fans.
Really quick
Please,
before we end. Shout out to DraftKings. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers' injury, they are giving, this is their tweet from yesterday, for all future bets. After suffering a tear of his Achilles tendons, Aaron Rodgers' season is over. In addition to the refunds on last night's game, we'll be refunding all Rodgers' future singles and parlays where Rodgers is an open leg, which is, pun intended, I don't know. Then credited inside 24 hours, digital bets only, refunded in bonus bets. So you basically get store credit, So if you have an Aaron Rodgers futures bet, which is a great gesture because not every sportsbook did that, which is kind of messed up.
I mean, he was essentially a non-play.
Yeah, he didn't have a chance. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, this has been.
You want to keep your customers. That was good. Good job by DraftKings.
Bad Weather Fans, episode 186. The title of this episode is Missionary. I'm glad I got a good laugh out of Alex for that. That was intentional, everybody. I did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
We have 193 ratings on Apple. I'd love to get to 200. So if you're listening to this and you're new to the podcast, go ahead, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment. Would love to get to 200 as we approach episode number 200. Of course, on YouTube, check us out. You can see the video. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Share this with your friends. Let everybody know about it. We've got some great archived interviews, including Ian Eagle, Tracy McGrady, Richard Jefferson, Coonies, Chris Childs, all good stuff.
Hear my Victor Cruz story 17 times if you like. That'll be fun.
Get used to it. All right, this has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 186, presented by DraftKings. Alex, have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.